SCP-2611 is called Large and in Charge. And Dr. Bob usually does some really good animations. And the art is pretty great too. I gotta say though, this thumbnail, it depicts a very big woman, okay? Like, very fat. And listen, I'm not into body shaming. I've struggled with the weight pretty much all my life. I'm currently on a diet. I'm not sticking to it very well, but the thing is when I was young, I had a weight problem, and then I started smoking cigarettes, and when I was about 16, not to curb my weight, it just had the side effect of me losing weight. Now, for a long time, I smoked cigarettes, like 15 years, okay? I quit since then, but all during that time, I never had to really manage weight, because that's one of the side effects of smoking, right? So when I stopped, the weight came, and I mean, it came, and it was really hard to control, and actually it got out of hand a couple times. I remember, like, I was 5'11 and 215, 220, 225 at one point too, and I always told my wife, if I ever got to those weights, you know, over 200 pounds, I would do something about it. And I do. It's hard to stick to diets though, man. And exercise is tough, you know? Gym membership costs a lot. Eating healthy is complicated if you got a schedule that you try to abide by. It's fast foods and all kind of stuff around you. So it takes a lot of conditioning to get it right, you know? And I think I'm in a pretty good place now as far as my health. I'm not as slim as I'd like to be, but yeah, I'm a YouTuber, man. This physique is hard to keep up when you don't move around as much as I do. At any rate, guys, this one should be pretty interesting. This was by Dr. Bob. Make sure to subscribe to him. Subscribe to me if you like reaction videos too. Hit the like button as well. Let's get on with it.
A young woman steps onto her bathroom scale. She holds her breath and squeezes her eyes shut, afraid to see the results as she listens to the dial spinning.
Dial?
When it slows to a stop,
she
opens her eyes
and
looks down. She balks at the result. 150 pounds.
But that's
nothing in her eyes.
150?
She steps off the scale and examines her reflection in the full-length mirror.
Oh, that's just...
In truth, her weight is far from out of control.
That's just nice and
when she looks at herself, she can't help but see flaws. The subtle ring of pudge around her middle, the way her butt sticks out just a little too far for her liking,
everybody got booty and stomach
thickness
problems,
around her
man.
cheeks and chin that hint at her history of snacking. As she leaves the bathroom, she reflects on her situation.
If you're not comfortable with it,
of course she's gaining weight. How could it be any other way? For the last 2 years, she's been in lockdown during a pandemic, and she's barely left her apartment.
Didn't help me either.
She let her gym membership lapse, and instead of cycling to work, she's instead taking the easy way out by just driving. And it's not like she gets much exercise in her free time either. During these last 2 years of isolation, she's mostly stayed in and watched television. She's discovered a particular love for trashy daytime talk shows and court dramas.
Oh my
Intellectually, she knows that they're the equivalent of junk food, but at the same time, there is a certain mindless charm to them. She would be embarrassed to admit it to any of her friends,
I like trash
but
TV
she does enjoy just
too.
turning off her brain and absorbing some silly talk show about professional stunt dwarves or Satan-worshipping furry juggalos.
Oh my God.
That sort of entertainment has been a boon to get her through the tough times.
Right.
Nevertheless, it's time to make a change. She promises herself that she's going to get into shape. Today, instead of vegging out on the couch, she's going to make an effort. She's going to go out and get some exercise.
She's got to add a little bit.
She's going to watch those extra pounds melt away right before her eyes.
Don't go crazy, because
her old gym clothes will still fit her. After all, she's definitely put on some extra weight since her last trip to the gym. After rummaging through her drawers, she finds what she's looking for: her spandex gym shorts and sports bra. She quickly changes her clothes and is relieved to see that, although they might be a little snugger than she would like, they still fit her pretty well.
Exactly.
That's a good sign. She probably won't even have to work very hard to get herself down to her ideal weight.
She's got to nip it in the bud, exactly.
It's all a matter of willpower, she tells herself. I was fit before, so that means I should be able to do it again. All I have to do is avoid temptation. I'll just have to make sure I stay active instead of watching trash TV all day. After all, I don't want to rot my brain too much.
Have a little exercise.
Walk on the treadmill while you watch TV. Job of sticking to her plan. She cycles to work, enjoying the fresh air and the reassuring post-workout burn in her legs that let her know that she's making progress.
Where are you working in that kind of outfit,
all the junk food in her refrigerator.
Oh my God.
Goes shopping for healthy fruits and vegetables.
See, you went too far.
Most important of all, she limits her television time.
You're gonna burn out.
She knows that trashy TV is probably her biggest addiction,
too fast.
even more than junk food.
Drastic.
So she needs to be careful of that.
Your brain's gonna rebel.
On the second day, though, she notices something strange. She starts off with a simple, healthy breakfast, just some granola and a glass of juice. It's barely enough to satisfy her, but she knows that she has to make sacrifices if she expects to actually lose any weight.
Granola's not either.
After breakfast, she decides to go out for a jog.
Eggs and some water and coffee, man.
She's overcome with sudden hunger. Of course, that's to be expected.
Well,
She's on
yeah.
a diet now.
Yeah.
So it's going to take some time to
happens.
adjust to these
Right.
smaller meals. She puts her hand to her rumbling stomach and grimaces.
I hate that.
She's never felt this hungry before. If she didn't know better, she would think that she hadn't eaten for a week with the amount of pain that she's feeling. In fact, she's actually starting to feel a little woozy, and she has to lean against a light post to keep from fainting.
Damn, girl,
She shakes
blood
her head
sugar
to clear her
problems?
thoughts. Okay, she thinks. I must
We
have
all know what
misjudged
it
how
is,
many
but
calories
just-
I need to get me through a morning. Her eyes stray to a nearby coffee shop.
You
She
could be
sighs
able to
in relief.
fast for a day.
She thinks to herself, I'll just pop in there and get myself a small snack.
Coffee,
Just a
that'll
little
do it.
something to keep my blood sugar up.
Oh,
She walks into the cafe and gets in line. As she waits, she can't help but stare at the rows of pastries on display under the glass. They all look delicious, and she is really
pastries.
hungry.
No.
She fully intends to only get a bagel with a little smear of cream cheese, but when she gets to the counter, she finds
all
herself
carbs,
ordering
man.
way too much food. I'd like 2 scones, 3 danishes, and a bear claw. she
God
says.
dang, that's
Also,
all
a
you...
large super raspberry frappuccino with
Cool.
extra syrup and whipped cream.
Oh,
The words just tumble out of her mouth, almost as if it's not her saying them.
you
but rather
saved
some
100
other voice
calories on
speaking
your
through her
breakfast,
mouth.
and now you're going to get an extra
What the-
1,000.
I didn't say that, she stammers. The clerk behind the
Dang.
counter eyes her strangely,
I love
and the
scones,
young
though,
woman
man.
feels too embarrassed
And
to protest
Danishes?
further.
Oh, that's really
She
good.
steps aside and waits for her order, pondering the strange event that just happened.
Costs
Is
you
she
$30 at
possessed? She's not a
Starbucks, girl.
superstitious person, but she can't think of any other explanation for what just happened. She can admit to herself that she has broken down and lost to temptation over a tasty snack in the past, but
Yeah?
this is ridiculous. Eventually, when the clerk hands her the order, she rationalizes the whole thing away. I must just be having a hunger hallucination, she says to herself.
Hunger
Obviously, I
hallucination.
need to be a little more careful about
You know
not
how
being so
long
strict
you
about my
gotta
diet.
go without eating
I'm
to
sure if
get
I
a
just eat sensibly, I
hallucination
won't
from
have an
hunger?
experience like that again. Her
That's
stomach
ignorant.
grumbles again, reminding her of the original reason why she stepped into this
just-
coffee shop.
Just have
She retreats to a table in the corner and tears open the bag. She
God.
wolfs down her pastries with gusto and slurps at her rich, creamy drink. When she's finished, she sighs in satisfaction, although the
10,000
uncomfortable
calories
full
later.
feeling in her belly reminds her of her predicament. She only meant to eat enough to keep her from fainting, but instead, she's eating herself silly. And
Right.
it's only day 2 of the diet. This does not bode well. Okay, she tells herself.
Sounds like a
This is my
typical
last
eating
cheat.
disorder.
From now on, I'm going to be serious about this diet.
So what you should
She
do
stands up and
is
leaves the cafe.
put together
ready to complete the
macros,
rest
get a
of her
meal
jog.
plan together.
Then,
Do
something
prep.
even stranger happens. On the television, the matriarch of the family is furious. She has forbidden her daughter from marrying the gardener because she believes that he is too low class for her highborn
watching
daughter.
trash TV
But what she
again?
doesn't realize is that her daughter is in love and that she is determined to make it work. The daughter and the gardener have eloped, and the matriarch is hiring a private detective to track them down. Meanwhile, the matriarch's
looked like the
long-lost
guy
twin
from,
brother, whom she thought died in a plane crash in the
It
tropics,
looks
has
like
actually
Boomhauer,
been
not
alive the
Boomhauer, the
entire
other guy
time.
from
He has been in a South American hospital recovering from amnesia.
Not
Now,
Family Guy.
he returns to the family estate, ready to claim his share of the inheritance. These events are all noted by the family's shady lawyer, who has big plans to usurp the family fortune himself. Unbeknownst to the family, he is actually secretly working for their mortal enemies and business rivals to destroy them. The young woman laughs, shoving a handful of potato chips into her mouth. Oh man, I wouldn't want to be in their shoes now. That lawyer is playing them all like fiddles.
She's just...
Suddenly,
She regressed
she startles,
100%.
as if she's just waking up. Where is she? Wasn't she just in that coffee shop? How is it that she's at home? And why is she eating potato chips? She was sure that she threw out all the junk food in the house. She must have bought a bag on her way back home from jogging, but she literally cannot remember it. And what is she doing now? Watching television and eating junk food?
Just
In
like she
disgust,
was
she
before.
grabs the remote and shuts off the TV. She was supposed to be jogging, and instead, she's sitting at home and watching stupid soap operas. The thing that worries her the most is her apparent blackout. She remembers nothing about her trip home from the coffee shop, although the evidence of the potato chip bag
She
indicates
OD'd on
that she must
sugar,
have stopped
man.
at a convenience store or
More hunger
supermarket on the way home.
hallucinations. The opposite
How could she
of...
forget something like that? I really must be having a blood sugar issue, she tells herself reassuringly, even though deep down, she knows that can't be the case.
Right.
She had the blackout after eating the pastries at the coffee shop, so that can't be the cause. But she really doesn't want to think about that, so she puts it out of her head with a renewed promise to commit to her exercise and fitness program. Over the next few days, she makes a valiant effort to keep her promise. She cycles when she can, she jogs when she remembers, and yet, the blackouts continue. And no matter where she is
like
when she loses her
Groundhog
memory,
Day.
she always recovers in the same place.
That's
back
weird,
home on her
dude.
couch, always in the middle of eating some fatty junk food.
It's not a
always
disorder
staring
no
at the
more.
television
It's...
set.
You got more
Sure,
than an
she's
eating
always had an
disorder
unhealthy
now.
television habit, and she knows
Yeah,
that trashy
a
talk
mental
shows and
disorder
silly
too.
soap
Maybe
operas
a
are her
couple
biggest
of-
weakness. but it doesn't make any sense that she would be seeking them out when she's in some kind of fugue state, right? As the weeks roll by, the young woman finds that her weight keeps rising. When she steps onto the bathroom scale, she's shocked to see that the dial points to 200 pounds.
Dang!
She's doing everything right, she thinks. How is that possible?
No,
How is it
you're
possible
not.
that she's ballooned up an extra 50 pounds since deciding to slim down?
A lot,
she can't fit into her old gym clothes anymore. She can barely tug the spandex shorts up to her thighs, and even if she could, she's afraid that they're going to split apart. In desperation, she switches to an old stretchy sweatsuit. It's the only thing that she owns that still fits her.
You need to talk to a doctor to gain 50 pounds in a few
she tells
weeks.
herself as she stares at her
You
bloated
got serious
reflection in the
issues,
bathroom mirror.
man.
I just have to work harder. And she does. Or does she? When she goes to ride her bike, she finds that it's no longer strong enough to support her weight.
What?
She can't perch on the seat comfortably, and the steel body frame starts to creak when she rests her full weight upon it. She steals her
What kind of
resolve.
bike you got that can support 200
Wearing an
pounds?
ill-fitting sweatsuit and riding a bike groaning under her bulk, but she really has no choice. This time, she's going to do it. And she probably did ride her bike to work, right? She's not sure. The next thing
Blackout
that she
again?
knows, she's back at home, spread across the couch, basking in the comforting glow of the
Oh
television.
my god.
The floor is covered in empty bags and
That's
cartons,
not good,
and her face
yo.
is slathered with crumbs and sauce. The last
Slather.
thing that she remembers is that she was just about to go for a
She
bike
is
ride.
pigging
And
out.
now she's back at home, and it looks like she just completely ruined her diet. She lifts her arm with some effort and stares at her watch.
Wipe
She's
your mouth,
lost
girl.
almost a whole
Look
day.
at you.
That's the longest blackout yet. She must have gone out cycling and made her way home, where she decided to reward
She's
herself for her
sleepy?
strenuous efforts with a little snack. That's the
A
only
little
logical
snack.
explanation.
4
She tries
pizzas
to
and 2
reassure
orders of
herself that
fries?
maybe she's past the worst of it, but she finds that these mysterious blackouts keep happening. They happen while she's at work, while she's at the gym, while she's out
And you
cycling,
eat more and
but she
more and
always
more.
comes to in the same place, sitting on her sofa at home, in front of the TV, surrounded by the debris of a massive meal.
Bruh.
Again, she wonders if maybe she's having some sort of reaction to her new low-calorie diet. Maybe she's been cutting back so far on her food
Low-calorie.
intake that she's starting to have fainting spells. Maybe her diet food is tainted in some way. But that doesn't explain why she keeps gaining weight. The scale in her bathroom doesn't lie. It keeps reporting higher and higher numbers. And as much as she tries to reassure herself that it must just be broken, her ever-tightening clothes and ever-widening reflection tell her otherwise. Her trips to the gym
Listen, I know
become
you're
less
in
and less
denial,
frequent.
but you need
as she
to
finds that
get a
other
new pair
patrons
of
have started to
drawers
stare and
that fit
whisper
you,
about her.
girl.
Are they laughing at her for not being able to control her weight? Are they whispering about how her new flab is spilling from the confines of her sweatsuit? She can't even run on the treadmill for more than a few minutes without being completely winded. She's too wide to balance on her bike now.
God!
The young woman has grown absolutely massive, to the point that she completely fills the whole couch.
Oh,
she chews her way through yet
no.
another bag of potato chips, her eyes never straying from the ever-chattering television set. She barely moves from this
Poor
spot,
baby,
her
man.
tremendous girth sinking into a permanent groove in the cushions as the couch springs groan. She barely notices, however, because she's much too intent on enjoying herself. She loves to eat, and every bite brings
Gluttony,
her untold
bro.
joy, her taste buds tingling with delight. She is constantly full, so much so that she feels slightly sick, so bloated that she feels like she might just burst, but she's powerless to resist the siren call of junk food. She scarfs down entire boxes of cookies
That's
and cartons of ice cream without a
eating
thought,
disorder
having turned
101,
into the
y'all.
very definition of a mindless eater. Only occasionally does she rouse herself from this stupor of gorging, to reach for her telephone, to order more takeout or more grocery
God
delivery,
dang.
always choosing the most calorie-laden
It hurts
options.
my heart to know
Other
people
than
actually
eating,
go
her
through
attention
this,
is
bro.
completely devoted to her television set. She watches a constant stream of daytime talk shows, laughing along with the studio audience as the hosts parade out an
I
assortment
want
of
to go work out
society's
right
biggest
now. I ain't even
freaks.
gonna lie, yo. I just
Sometimes she'll switch the channel to
walk
watch
or
soap
something.
operas, becoming so wrapped up in the ridiculous plot twists and melodramatic acting that she completely forgets the passage of time. Her bicycle stands propped against the wall in the hallway, completely forgotten and untouched now for months. At this point, all thoughts of losing weight have utterly evaporated, and all that she cares about is satisfying her appetites for junk food and junk television. One day, she suddenly shakes her head and looks down at herself in horror, as if seeing herself for the first time. What the? She says in disbelief.
just noticed,
She drops
babe?
her half-eaten carton of ice cream and grabs at her fleshy middle with her hands, as if to make sure that it's all her and not some kind of
But
crazy
yeah.
dream. Her hands sink deep into her new flesh, and she
Ice cream
realizes
will
to
do
her
that
shock
to you.
that indeed she has eaten herself into morbid obesity.
God.
How is this possible? I can't be this big. I was only... Her words trail off
been
as
blacking
the sound
out.
of an organ sting from the soap opera on TV diverts her attention. Within seconds, her eyes have glazed over, and her hands
Jeez,
move to
man.
pick up the dropped carton of ice cream.
She's in a
Her
trance.
worries about her growing size forgotten, She's now only concerned with watching until the next commercial break.
It's gonna kill you.
It might seem unbelievable that someone could undergo such a startling physical and mental transformation. But what that young woman experienced has led to her being classified by the Foundation as SCP-2611.
She is an SCP.
SCP-2611 is, as you might have expected, a young woman currently weighing approximately 500 pounds. Her mobility is limited due to her weight, although SCP staff encourage her to take light exercise whenever possible, in hopes of preventing her mobility from deteriorating further.
Right.
She also suffers from several health issues related to her weight and lifestyle, including
pressure,
diabetes, for which she is receiving treatment by Foundation personnel. Her awareness of her situation and surroundings is severely limited, as she spends most of her time in a stupor. But when she is lucid, she believes that she is in a special facility receiving treatment for her weight problem. In reality, SCP-2611 is under observation because of SCP-2611-1. SCP-2611-1 is a mass of sentient fat located on SCP-2611's left side.
Sentient fat.
SCP-2611-1 has become integrated with several of SCP-2611's vital organs, making it too dangerous to attempt to remove SCP-2611-1 via liposuction or other means. SCP-2611-1 has gradually exerted increasing control over the mind and actions of its host, to the point that SCP-2611 is only fully conscious for 1 to 2 hours daily. The rest of the time, SCP-2611-1 is fully in control of its host's behavior. Prior to coming to the SCP facility, SCP-2611-1 influenced its host to consume massive amounts of calories, leading to the mysterious and sudden weight gain that we observed earlier. This was possibly an attempt by SCP-2611-1 to increase its own size and influence, but as of yet, its reasons, as well as how it exerts control over its host, are unknown. When in control, SCP-2611-1 can speak through its host, communicating in standard American English. SCP-2611's access to food has been limited since her arrival at the Foundation, so as to prevent her weight gain from accelerating to dangerous levels. Other than eating, SCP-2611-1's main interest appears to be daytime television. Attempts to communicate with SCP-2611-1 have so far met with little success due to the anomaly's limited attention span for anything other than the minutiae of daytime television. In a conversation with one researcher, however, SCP-2611-1 let slip that it preferred daytime television to the programming watched by, quote, that other guy, suggesting that it lived inside a different host before it eventually took up residence within the body of SCP-2611. At another point, while in the middle of a conversation about a court drama, SCP-2611-1 suddenly announced, kill it now, I don't care if I die. Staff believe that this might not have been SCP-2611-1 at all, but rather the voice of SCP-2611 trying to break through the hypnotic control of her parasite to call for help. At this time, no drastic action is recommended until further observations can be made. SCP-2611-1 does not appear to be contagious, and the way that it bonds with the host is unknown, so it is currently classified as safe. At the moment, SCP-2611-1 is the only known instance of its kind. However, considering rising levels of obesity worldwide, it is not unfathomable to think that there could be countless other instances influencing the behavior of other hosts to dedicate their lives to consuming food and television. Who knows? It's not like most of us would need that much convincing.
You're right!
Now go and watch another entry from the files of Dr. Bob, like SCP-002, The Living Room, or another tale of a large amount of flesh.
I gotta tell you though, guys, you don't need an anomaly to let stuff get out of hand. You know? You really don't. It's... The idea of temptation for food is really, really hard. Like, food's kind of like an addiction. I've been addicted to stuff, so I know. I was addicted to cigarettes. And, you know, when you try to stop something that you're addicted to, you go through withdrawals. Like, your mind and your body physically crave these things, you know? And food is, it's the ultimate addiction, right? Because you need it. So you have to have it. You can't just quit cold turkey or you'll die, you know. But, you know, restricting it is very, very difficult. It requires a lot of discipline, especially if you have things that, like, you know, if you work full time, you need to commit time to meal prep, or you're going to eat bad. You're going to eat fast food because that's what's available, or you're going to go broke at eating good food at restaurants, you know. but it's a lot. Trust me, man. My wife works, okay, and I do all her meal prep. So she eats right because we make it happen, and we still splurge when we want to. But there's a big difference between, you know, having a couple days a week that you don't eat well, or eating well eating well only a couple days a week, right? Because that'll catch up with you. Health issues, weight problems, you name it, you know. It's hard. If you're struggling with it, just get help. Get help. Try to figure it out. I talked to the doctor about it. You know, that's how I caught it under control. You know, he recommended some stuff, and there's a lot of discipline and willpower that comes along with it too. At any rate, guys, this was a crazy one, huh? Oh, it makes me crazy just thinking about how people struggle with that. At any rate, guys, Dr. Bob, make sure to subscribe to me too if you like reaction videos. Thanks so much for watching. As always, this is Zueljin signing off. We'll see you next time.